Thanks for coming by, Ryan Reynolds. I'd like you to remove your shirt.
Will do, can do.
Saskatchewan, where you can no longer say there's not a lot going on.
All right, what's next in the experiment?
Brent, it's great to be talking to you again about Corner Gas Animated. The last time you and I spoke, you said the show would go till 2044, but it's ending a little earlier than that. What are your feelings?
I don't think I said it was. I think I said I would be happy to go to 2044. Okay. I believe that's what I said.
How do you feel now that it is coming to an end? What are your feelings right now?
Well, it's kind of the perfect blend. It's the perfect example of bittersweet. You know, you hear the term bittersweet. This is the perfect example of it, I think, because there is definitely a sadness because, like I said, we were having a great time doing the show and would have loved to keep going. But, you know, these things happen. Everything must come to an end. So we're kind of sad to see it go. But at the same time, you have to look, you know, on the other side of the coin, we've had this show going for so long. Like this idea, when I first wrote the treatment for a show about a gas station in Saskatchewan, I just shelved it because I didn't think anybody would ever want to watch it, never mind produce it, right? And for us to, you know, not only get the show made, but have people respond the way they did, and to be here 17 years later talking about wrapping it up, it's hard not to ignore that blessing, you know.
Series finales, they're always so, I imagine, so hard to come up with. You already had to do a series finale before. Hank, earlier in the animated series, talks about endings and how hard they are. How hard was it for you to come up with the perfect ending for Corner Gas Animated?
I'll tell you, like, I had one goal in mind with the live action and with the animated series. I wanted this to end in a way that would satisfy the fans. I only had the fans in mind about this. And one of the things that I believe is that people they don't want to see something that they love. If they love this show, they don't want to see, you know, I didn't want the gas station to blow up. I didn't want, you know, Brent to get torn apart by dingoes. I didn't want, you know, I wanted to end it in a way that you could imagine that life is going on in Dog River as you remember it. We've just stopped rolling the cameras. That was kind of the goal going into it. And I think we've done a really good job. I think if you're a fan of Corner Gas, you're going to like how we ended the show, because it's got a lot of funny in it, a lot of funny stuff, but it also has, you know, maybe a bit more emotion, a bit more drama than we've seen before.
Ryan Reynolds makes a cameo in the episode.
This is fantastic news. He's a Hollywood A-lister. That's awesome.
How did that come about? Was he sort of one of those, you know, golden sort of picks that you had in mind that you wanted to get for the show?
Thanks for coming by, Ryan Reynolds.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite. I don't usually accept invitations or Snapchat, but I can't resist seeing people's home garage laboratory setups.
You know, I've always had like a list of dream gets, you know, and sometimes you can get them and sometimes you don't. Bob Newhart was somebody that I really wanted to have as a cameo on the live action show. I had this storyline in mind where he played Oscar's father, and he was the opposite of Oscar. He was very laid back and mellow. But we weren't able to get him. And, you know, for Corner Gas Animated, I had Michael J. Fox was on one of the people on my dream list, and we reached out and we were able to get him. I flew down to New York and recorded him in his office. It's one of the great things about animation is you just need their voice. So it's easier to get them to commit. And then Ryan Reynolds was kind of, you know, top of the list, and we never approached him. I always just assumed his people would give us a polite pass, a polite decline. But we were able to, you know, when we thought, well, here's our final episode, our last shot at it, we were able to reach out to him directly. And he said, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to do it. We sent him the script. He said he thought it was a funny cameo, and he said, I'll record it right now. And he recorded it and sent it to us so fast. We were like, wow, what? Are you kidding me? We already have it in the bank now. It was amazing. And then he sent me a really nice little note on Twitter via DM. He just sent me a little note congratulating us and thanking us for asking to be a part of the show, and, you know, saying, you know, wishing us all the best and congratulating us on our run.
Oh, that's so cool. Brent, 17 years So many people, so many generations of people have enjoyed Corner Gas live action animated. Why do you think it resonated and lasted as long as it did?
I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to kind of try and figure that out. And if I had the recipe, I would just, I would just make hit show after hit show after hit show if I just knew exactly what it was. I think it's probably a combination of a lot of intangibles, but one thing I keep going back to is I think that there was a sort of authenticity to Corner Gas. We weren't trying to be something else. I remember at the time that we came along, particularly at the, early 2000s, it seemed like all TV was dark and they were really trying to be edgy. All the promotions for the shows were like, we're edgy. Oh, this is an edgy show. Look out. There's a dark and edgy show. And I just felt like every show sort of had this contrived agenda. I shouldn't say every show, but a lot of shows did. And Corner Gas came along, and one of the reasons I think we didn't have an agenda is that we just thought nobody was going to watch anyway. Here we got a show about a gas station in Saskatchewan. Surely to goodness nobody's going to watch this. So all we can do, we've managed to sell the network on these 13 episodes for this season. We'll do the best that we can. We'll make a show that we really like, that we feel proud of. And that was kind of our only concern. And so I think that the audience picked up on that in some regard. They could tell they weren't being sold something. We were a bright blue sky show in an ocean of dreary edginess.
Now some online rag is saying I'm responsible for sea monsters on the prairie. Sea monsters. I mean, do people just make up whatever they want and call it news?
You had 3 Canadian prime ministers on the show: Stephen Harper, Paul Martin, Justin Trudeau. Which one of them should have been an actor?
Well, I don't know that any of them should have been an actor. I'll tell you though, what surprised me, Stephen Harper, his delivery was much better than I anticipated. No, well, first of all, I thought that, like, when we sent the script to his office, I assumed that we were going to get a no on that script. It was going to be like, you have to write something else, because we showed him in kind of a wishy-washy light. He in the scene, his character flip-flops just based on audience reaction during a speech. He says he believes one thing, the audience kind of moans. He goes, no, so I believe the other thing. So we thought it was kind of a funny gag, but we thought they probably won't approve that. And he was like, no, that's funny. You're just showing me flip-flopping. That's all right. I get that. That's funny. And so he agreed to do it. And then his delivery was really kind of good and natural. But, Trudeau, I think, does have some. Didn't he teach drama for a while? So he's got a bit of a background. He was good in his thing. And Paul Martin was, we were just asking him to be kind of prime ministerial in his cameo. It was basically, he was giving an address to the nation, and I interrupt him and ask him if it has to be now, because we're supposed to be doing an episode of Corner Gas.
Okay, before I let you go, Brent, have we really seen the last of the cast from Dog River?
The last of the Dog River characters? Well, like, I've learned long ago, this is our 3rd time saying goodbye. I've learned long ago, never say never with this group. But I can tell you, I don't anticipate any new iteration of these characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time, Brent. Congratulations. I guess I can't wait to see what comes next. We'll see you out on the road doing stand-up.
Yes, that's next up. And I wrote my first novel, so I may turn into an author. Who knows?